Phil, difficult night tonight. Classic game of two halves, really. We started really well, but second half was very disappointing, wasn't it?
Disappointing, the fact that we lost the game, basically. But I didn't make too many clever subs, I don't think, at the time when I thought there's a possibility we might have a chance of winning the game. I think I brought Theo on just at the moment when it went 2-1 to them. But we did have I've got to say it, we did have a say in the matter at 2-1. But then the red cards, I mean, I just don't see the first red card. Okay, if the referee's been abused for the second red card, understandably he gets it out. But I think he's created a situation, in my humble opinion, he's created a situation. I don't think it was a foul. And yet he's given Foxy a red card, which I've now got to contend, if truth be known, because we haven't got centre halves available. So, to say the best player on the park for the opposition was the referee, it's a bit harsh, but it's so true, because that's the reason why it was 3-1. And even at 2-1, we had opportunities to get something from the game. If we get a point tonight, it's a good point. We'll move on after 2 wins. But I don't want to be sitting here bemoaning the officials. Listen, I'll leave it for people to watch the game, but I just don't get the 2 red cards. Sorry, I tell a lie. I don't get the first red card. The second red card was born out of the fact that I think Luca Miller was fouled by 3, if not 1, 2, 3 of their players, and he didn't give a free kick, and the ball ended up in the back of the net, made it 3-1. So his contribution to the opposition winning the game was immense. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that it was born out of frustration at the end there because of some of the decisions earlier on. But let's pick the positives. I mean, we started the game really well. You brought in Sam McClintock back into the side, and we spoke about him sitting behind you on the bench on Saturday, and he got back inside tonight and took his chance early on. You've been practicing these brilliant finishes, or?
He's got a good talent. He's got a manager who believes in him, and a lot of people might say that, why don't you pick him week in and week out? Because the reason being is we've got enough talent in the changing room to create opportunities, and I think Luca Miller was the one who created the opportunity for him. With that in mind, having Luca and Macca in the same team, defensively you're going to get asked 1 or 2 questions, but I thought we stood up to that. I thought at times, the captain is doing a sterling job for us. There's no doubt in my mind, looking at DJ in front of the back 4 and filling in for Elliot Whitehouse, who obviously couldn't play today. I thought that was a blessing in disguise to see what he's capable of doing, and he does. He marshals the defence behind him, but then he joins in when we're playing as well. But it allowed us to probably have one more creative player on the front line. Sometimes that's a little bit risky, but when we went 1-0 up, I thought the plan was working. And then 47 minutes and a few seconds on the clock, and just before the half-time whistle, obviously it was the last kick of the half, they get an equaliser. Did they deserve anything from the game? I thought they were a decent side. I thought they passed the ball well. I thought John's got them playing good football, but I think we coped with quite a bit up until the moment that I went in the back of the net, and at 1-1 I was thinking about changes at half time. I was thinking about, do we need to step on the gas again? Do we need to change formation? All them things. But I thought, no, let's get on with it. We'll come out the second half and see what happens. And sure enough, we were doing okay. But I can't agree with how we got beat 2 and 3-1 with the way the referees behaved tonight.
Well, it's certainly puzzling how we went in. We went in 1-1, but it could have easily been 3-3. There was only 2 goals in that first half is beyond me.
It's an open game, Nigel. It always will be. Where John's concerned, he's got a little bit of a reputation here that he wants to play football, which is all well and good. And you've got to have a defence behind you that's going to keep a clean sheet every so often. But as the cup contenders on Saturday showed, that 6-3 was the scoreline, and I watched John's interview after the game, and he was cock-a-hoop with it. You will do, scoring 6 goals, but conceding 3. Sometimes a clean sheet's the only thing you're after, and I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at defenders. If they can keep a clean sheet forward, I think we've got enough creativity in there. But is it about scoring goals at this moment in time? Yes, of course it is. Is it about getting 3 points in these moments? Not really. It was about getting a point when you're up against it. And like you say, it could have been 3-3 at half time. Them open games are great for the purists and they're great for the neutrals, but not so good for the managers.
That was exactly going to be my next point. The game got a bit stretched for you. It's a nice wide pitch here, and they used every inch of it, didn't they? And they kept putting those crosses in, and it was no surprise when eventually one went in.
It's something that we've got to learn to do. First and foremost, you've got to stop the source. And as a fullback, I was paid to stop crosses. I had number 2 on me back, the number 7 or the number 11, whatever you played against, didn't get a crossing. We're not stopping the crossing, and then we're not heading the ball when it comes into our 6-yard box. That's a recipe for disaster. We've got to learn to be able to cope with that, and we've got to learn to, 1, stop it at the source, so the one-on-one situation have got to get better, and 2, if we do get beat and get to the byline and a cross does come in, we've got to fill the goal and make sure we get that first contact. And we didn't do that for the second goal, but we ended up getting beat 3, and it looks a comfortable win for the home side, but there was stages of the game where it was far from comfortable.
Indeed, yeah, and again we've come up against a side near the top and gone toe to toe with them, haven't we? We didn't look like a side down at the bottom tonight, and they're playing with a lot of confidence, and let's just hope that hasn't knocked their confidence what happened at the end there.
I won't allow that, Nigel. I won't allow it. I think it's something that we have to learn what we're doing, learn about our trade. And yes, this is probably one of the biggest pitches in the division, if not the country. It's massive, and when it gets wide, it gets stretched, and you've got to move the ball, etc., etc. We didn't do that with an efficiency in the same manner as which they did, but it looked like one-way traffic in the second half, because of the fact that we went down to 9 men or 10 men when it first happened. But I'm not going to complain anymore about that. It's by the by. We've lost the game. It's not back to the drawing board. It's just a case of dressing ourselves down, dusting ourselves down, and getting on with training on Thursday with a view to Saturday and a very big game again. But they're all big. And it's one of them where if anybody was looking at the league table after Saturday and thinking, oh, we've cracked this, far from it. It doesn't change overnight. It's a long process. It's a long journey, and it's going to be hard work all the way through.
And this is a very tight league, isn't it? Like I say, lots of teams in there who are very similar. I'll
guarantee you that probably 95% now of Peterborough Sports supporters have been saying, oh, if we get 3 points tonight, we could be climbing up 5, 6, 7, 8 positions. I'll guarantee you. But again, it's not one for me. What we need to do is build a foundation, build a basis of what we can try and move on from. And at the moment, our basis or basics our top draw 1 minute and then our bottom draw the next minute. And when the bottom draw, we've got to make sure that we grind and get the result that we need, which is sometimes a draw. When you come to places like this, we've got 4 away trips that we've got to focus on. We've now got another suspension unless we win the appeal, which I think we should do. To be brutally honest, it didn't even look like, as I said, it didn't even look like a foul, let alone a red card. And if we can win that appeal, we'll have a centre-half pairing still, but at this moment in time, we're short of centre-halves again.
And just finally then, talking about centre-halves and Anthony, again, very good performance from him tonight, his second game in a sports shirt, and he seems to be one of them players who just drifts into the right position to be able to clear the ball.
He's got the credentials that's suitable for playing in that system. He's probably better suited to playing right hand side as opposed to left hand side. But with that in mind, it's one of them where I want to find a clean sheet from somewhere, and at this moment in time we haven't got one. What we need to do is find a formation and find a group of personnel that's going to get us a clean sheet, and that might just get us a win somewhere down the line.
Hard lines tonight, Phil. We'll go again on Saturday. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.